I would like to now introduce Yehuda. And along with being an Australian, South African, Central European counsellor, psychotherapist, psychosomatic therapist, organisational development consultant, and international trainer of all of these, Yehuda is the founder of Psychophonetics and Methodical Empathy. And he is the director of Psychophonetics Institute International, a co-director dean of studies of Skola Empatie in Slovakia, UK, Czech Republic and China. So it's my honor to introduce Yehuda. Thank you so much. Go ahead.
Muted. You're muted, Yehuda. There you go.
Can you hear me now? Cool. Well, it's a pleasure to be included in this noble circle of people who are striving for the future of humanity. And as Edwin called it, it's a movement. It's a worldwide movement. And it is not a very old one. It's quite a new one. So for context, because I'm also a historian, I want to remind us, if you open any dictionary in the world before 1951, you will not find the value empathy, not even in the Oxford Dictionary. There was no empathy in the world. It was invented by Carl Rogers in 1951. People think it's an old Greek word. It's not. The Greek don't know the word empathy. Sympathy, antipathy, sure. Empathy, 1951. And it's a baby. And I believe we are all nursing this baby. And we can do it effectively only if we nurse it within ourselves. I discovered empathy not in psychology, but in theatre. I was an actor and a director in England and Australia. And I realized that what it takes in order to become somebody else convincingly as an actor and help out others to do it as director, I have to know myself deeper. I have to take the same physique, the same biography, the same psyche, the same accent, body, and know it so well that I can become you convincingly on the stage. Never to be you, but to be as close as possible. So I studied empathy the hard way during my career in theatre in England and in Australia. And I graduated in education theatre on methodical empathy. And so I realized that this is too important to leave it for Schauspielerin, to leave it for the show business. I decided this is a value for humanity. And in my history study, I realized when empathy started officially as a name in 1951, but as a skill, it started in the 5th century BC in Greece, in the theatre of Dionysus in Athens, when one human being represented another human being for a third human being to watch through the playwright Aeschylus, and that's where it started. It took us 2,000 years to make it into a skill. I wanted to take it out of theatre. I took myself out of theatre to develop it together in all walks of life. So we are teaching in School of Empathy. I'm speaking now from the School of Empathy, based in Slovakia. We are now teaching it in the UK, in Czech Republic, in China, and in South Africa, and in other countries before. And we are teaching it professionally. And to give it grounding in cultural reality, I put it in a context of professional training for counselors, psychotherapists, psychosomatic therapists, and educational and organizational consultancy. So we train people to be counselors and psychotherapists on the basis of methodical empathy. And I suppose parallel to the development of empathy circles, we develop the same thing. We call it empathy laboratories. The core element in our training is you know yourself, you know others. You want to know another. To all this terminology here, we developed 4 levels of empathy, and you have other terms for them, but Basically, we take people through reflective empathy, which is the basic level, hear what people say, not what you think they say, but we go deeper into imaginative empathy to get into the mental picture, not only the words. Then we take it deeper into inspirative empathy to go into the deep meaning of what they say, not only what they say. In this process, we have to drop all questions. We don't do questions in empathy, we do evidence. We provide evidence that we hear you, rather than
A little technical difficulty. Hopefully, Yehuda will return.
meaning of what your life means to you and what you encounter mean to you with your partner or your client or your colleague, what it means to you in the context of your life as an evolving human being. So I suppose it could be said that methodical empathy goes parallel with the development of empathy circle and these very many overlapping elements between them, and I believe we can contribute a lot to each other and to our students. We gave it the context of professional counseling and psychotherapy. Methodical empathy as a basis for counseling and psychotherapy brings the new dimension to modern psychology for what we call participatory therapy and not a passive reception of therapy. The core element is you have to change to move from normal listening. Normal listening is pre-empathy into empathetic listening. I don't just change you, I have to change myself, because in myself, I have the receptor for the deeper dimension of empathy. Addressing the deepest longing in people's souls, everyone, from baby to anyone else, we want to be seen, we want to be heard, we want to be known. And reflection is only the beginning of it. In order to see you, I need to imagine you. I need to be imaginative. To hear you, I have to take your spirit into me, inspirative empathy, and feel your experience as if it is mine. That's what you do in acting. In order to know you from inside, I have to be for a moment you, as close as I can, and give you mirrors for all these states, which results in what Carl Rogers established as, I have to change, I give you an echo of yourself, you change, and if I change, and you change, then we change. And the future of humanity is empathy, empathic culture, if humanity has empathy. And that goes also for our environment. If humanity and the planet has a future, it is empathetic future. We teach it professionally, we ground it in professional counseling. We are teaching it now in Slovakia, in the UK, in Czech Republic, South Africa and China, but we are starting an international course online as well. And so the position of a counselor gives you incredible opportunity every day to practice empathy on another level. So friends, this is my humble contribution to this honorable movement, as Edwin called it. We are in a movement for the future of humanity, but that future is now. We do now the future. And I'm very glad to be a part of this movement. And I'm looking forward for many future exchanges between our efforts in different countries for the development of that future humanity right now. That is my contribution.
My goodness, thank you so much, Yehuda. That's very inspirational. Going into the history of, empathy, like it didn't exist, really. What an idea! What a thought! That's yeah, methodical empathy. Thank you so much for that.